Hello. At the weekend, I listened to a podcast that was talking about how sometimes we are uncomfortable on our feet, or we have issues with our feet, and those issues could be related to the lack of mobility in the hips. So the foot, the knee, hip, lower body is obviously related. With this in mind, I thought that we could go through a few moves that would help warm and strengthen the hips. You may want to have a brick at hand, and we'll start lying down. So here, get yourself perhaps semi-supine, so with your feet flat and your knees up towards the ceiling. Getting yourself comfortable, sensing your breath in your body. You may want to take your hands to your lower belly. And sense the breath as you breathe in and as you breathe out through your nose. Take another breath here. Open your eyes if they're not already open. One after the other, take your knees in towards the chest. Give them a little hug so that you can perhaps release the lower back. Come back to the center and again. And one last time, so you allow those knees to come forward and simply just hugging yourself really. Let's come back to the center, release the feet flat to the floor, to hip width or ideally outer hip width apart, even all the way to mat width. Have the arms a little bit away from the side of the body, and you can start to take the knees from side to side, just very gently noticing that little twist in your waistline, in your back. And then you can make those a little bit bigger if you wish, so that you take your knees from side to side, windshield wipers. Then you're going to come back through towards the center and then have those feet parallel. Let's extend the left leg alongside the floor and take the right knee in towards the chest and maybe even the hand behind the thigh. If it isn't comfortable for your left leg to be extended, you can keep the foot flat to the floor. That's better for your back. And so here we're going to take the leg a little higher up so you can look at opening and closing the ankle. And then take some ankle rotations. One side, one direction rather, and then in the other direction. And then you're going to release as if you were dropping your heel. With your hands behind your thigh, you might feel that your knuckles are touching your calves and releasing perhaps a little bit of tension too. Good. And then we're going to slide the hands at the front. Really hug the knees in towards the chest. Take the left hand behind the head, tuck the chin, inhale. As you exhale, you're going to take the forehead to the knee. This time the focus is more to the front of the hip flexor on the left leg. Release as you inhale. Exhale again. Inhale down. We'll take this another time. Exhale round. Inhale, release all the way down. Release the right foot down. This time you take that left leg in, hands behind the thigh. You may want to extend the right leg or keep it for now flat to the floor. And again, you're going to lift your leg a little bit and then open and close, open and close. And then take some ankle rotations in one direction and in the other direction. Good. And then you allow the calf to be slapping against the knuckles of the hands. And you can feel free to move this lower down as well if this isn't so comfortable, or it might provide a little bit of release in the calves. And then allow those hands to move at the front so that you can hug in. So clearing the space there's between your belly and your ribs and your leg. Take the right hand behind the head, tuck the chin. Inhale as you exhale, lift. Inhale down, exhale, lift. And one last time. Good. This time, release the left foot down. Take the right foot next to it. Bring both knees in towards the chest. Hug them tight. Have the hands onto the top of the knees. Inhale, move the knees forward, out to the side, in towards the chest and together. Again, so we're going to move the knees forward, out to the side, in towards the chest and together. And again, one last time. And then in the other direction, you take the knees in, out, forward and together, in, out, forward and together, and some more. Good. Then here again, release the feet to the floor. Take the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to open wide into your butterfly. So you can allow those heels to come a little further forward so you're more into a diamond shape than perhaps a triangle shape between the legs. And we're going to very gently move the knees from side to side in order to release the inner thighs. Now, you can warm your hands together and then place the hands onto your inner thigh so that the warmth here helps release the knees a little bit more out. Then slide the hands to the outside of the thighs. Bring those legs back together. Allow the feet to come out to the side and the knees to knock in so you start to feel this onto the outside of the thighs here. Take another breath. Separate the knees, walk the feet together, the knees together, roll over onto one side. Where here, you're going to take, so you've got those knees, right now the knees are bent, my knees are further forward than my hips. If I line my back with the back of my mat, so my body is trying to be in one line, so you're going to eclipse the shins, so that here is your knee. Your knees are in line with your hips more or less. Try as much as you can. You're going to keep the bottom knee bent, then you're going to straighten the top leg here. With a hand at the front to help, or you can keep your hand to the side. From here, you're going to open up and down. And do this a handful of times. In fact, probably 2 handfuls of times. If you can go up to 10 repetitions, this would be good. If holding your head with your hand at the back here is not comfortable, feel free to take a support and to place it here so that you don't have to involve your wrists either. Good. I have completely lost count. That will surprise you. So let's add another 3. Essentially, you're doing this until you start to feel this warm up. So if I've done 10 repetitions and you had enough after 5, then you will stop after 5. Good. And then you're going to bend and release here on top of the knee. So you can feel that warmth happening. Roll back onto your back. And for me, this was the right leg. So I'm going to take my right shin across the left thigh, meaning that whichever one was the top leg that you've just worked is going to slide across the other shin. And then you're going to move your knees from side to side. Or if you'd like to think of rolling to the inner arch of the foot that is down to the floor and then to the outside of it. And if this feels quite comfortable, then you can start to make this bigger by releasing the top foot to the floor, back through towards the centre. See whether the knee will come close towards the floor on the other side. Good. Come back through to the centre. Release the right leg. You can simply roll onto your other side if you want. I'm going to shift so that you can see on the other side what's happening. So I'm on the back edge of the mat. I'm holding behind the head, but again, you could have your brick here if you wanted to support you instead. And then I'm going to bend my knees. More than likely I'm going to need to shuffle all my props around here. So my bottom knee stays bent, the top one is up. And I'm going to, again, up to 10 times, lift up and down. Exhale on the way down, inhale on the way up. Remember that this is until you start to feel a little bit of a warmth, if that's enough for you, or a little bit more. I'm starting to feel the warmth, but I know that I feel comfortable doing the next 4 repetitions. Good, and then I'm going to let it release. Sometimes it's quite nice to give it a little pat. And again here, you're going to lie down on your backs. And this time I take my left shin across my right thigh. My arms are out and I'm going to start going from side to side. And then maybe go a little bit more. Depending on how this feels in your body. Here we're trying to mobilize the hips. And then we'll come back through towards the center. Release the leg down. Allow the knees to knock in, the feet to be out to mat width apart, and take a couple of breaths here. Walk those feet back together again. And then again, come to the back of the mat on your side, as you just did. This time we're going to work the bottom leg. So I'm going to take my right foot behind. You could take it to the front, it's up to you. However, you keep your balance here. And then again, inhale, lift, exhale, release. I am flexing, or rather, flexing the bottom foot so that I go towards keeping the leg straight and engaging that leg. You can do this up to 8 to 10 times on this occasion for this. And just go gently. You know, if 3 or 4 is enough, then that's enough. Again, I've lost count. Talking and counting at the same time is a little bit difficult. So you come back onto your back. Actually, we're going to go straight to the other side on this one. You can just roll onto your back if you know where you're going now and follow the voice. My voice, not the one in your head. And here, I'm going to bend the top one so that here the bottom one lifts. And you might find, as we often do when we practice asymmetrical postures, so we do one side and then the other, that there is a little bit more ease on one side and less on the other. Good, one more. And release. Great, this time let's come onto our backs. Allow our feet to be flat, the knees to be up towards the ceiling, so we're into our constructive rest position. Everything is hip width apart. Start with the right shin across the left thigh, just as you did earlier on. You can carry on your sort of knees from side to side and the rocking from side to side, or you can start to take that leg in and then take the hands behind. Try not to be tense into the shoulders. So if your head rolls back, maybe a blanket under the head or a brick. And then notice here, you could have the leg up, you could have the leg down. Notice the outside of the hip warmth here. Let's release. Take the other side after a couple of breaths. Slide left shin on the right thigh. Again, you may move from side to side and notice the stretch onto the outer hip, or you can hold the back of the leg with a belt with the hands, making sure the torso feels quite relaxed, the head and the neck. And you could have the leg up or the leg down. And taking 2 to 3 more breaths here. Let's release. And we're back here to our constructive rest position. Let's bring the hands to the side of the mat. So the palms, the forearms and the upper arms are facing down. Slide the feet slightly underneath your feet and your knees even. Pressing big toe mound, little toe mound, inner heel, outer heel. We're going to inhale, lengthen the tailbone, exhale, lift. So we're engaging all of those parts that we've warmed up, as well as keeping the length into the front of the hips. We can stay for a couple of breaths in our bridge. And as you next exhale, you're going to release down. Once you reach the bottom, stay here for a breath. Let's take this again. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. So imagine you're just squishing some grass underneath your lower back. Press onto your feet, lift up. We'll stay for a couple of breaths. And then on your next exhale, allow the back of the body to make that connection with the floor once more. One more repetition. Inhale, lengthen the tailbone. Exhale, lift yourself up. And when you're ready, as you next exhale, release. Allow the body to roll down and release. Take the arms out, maybe into goalkeeper arms, feet a little bit wider, and we're going to finish the way we started with some of those windshield wipes. However wide they want to be. Let's come back towards the center, toes and heels, and release the arms out to the side of the body. Take the palms facing up towards the ceiling. Extend the legs. Allow the feet to roll out. You may close your eyes here. And for the next few breaths, we'll take the time to observe the feedback that the body is giving us after what has been primarily a class about warming onto our hips and getting a little bit more mobility into those hips. When you're ready to, you can roll the toes in, slide the feet slowly back so that they are under the knees. One after the other, knees in towards the chest. You can still keep your eyes closed here and just tune into the sensations of that hug. A roll over onto one side, curled up into a ball. Supporting your head. And slowly open your eyes. Press the top hand down to the floor. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated posture. Notice how you feel in your sitting bones and in your hips now. This may have released some of the tension that you had throughout the day, or may prepare you for the rest of the day. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release the thumbs to the forehead for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind actions. Namaste, I salute you.